And the smiles lie brutality and rage.
And it is not from the husband. It is from the wife.
She's abusive.
I will always go to a level 10.
You said if it's not violent, I don't feel better.
She's cold.
Were you upset that he brought you a flower?
I don't know how to handle affection.
But most of all, she's a woman scorned.
This scares me when I hear stuff like this.
It scares you enough to go and have an affair?
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. I want you to look at something for me. When you look at this picture, what do you see? It's like Officer and a Gentleman, right? A beautiful brunette with her handsome, rugged guy. They appear to be a happy couple, completely in love. But a picture is not always worth 1,000 words, because behind the beauty lies brutality, beatings, and frankly, a lot of rage. And it is not from the husband. It is from the wife. She admits to not only hitting, punching, slapping her husband of 8 years, Aaron, but calling him names that would make the FCC blush. But it was an incident 2 months ago that Ashley claims pushed her over the edge when she discovered that Aaron was having an affair. She confronted him via text. Here's an excerpt. What is her name? How many times? Aaron, I don't know, like 10. Ashley, I swear to God, I'm going to blanking gun you down in a blanking street. Fortunately, Ashley didn't shoot Aaron that night, but let's hear what she has to say.
My husband and I have been fighting since the day we got together. When my husband and I fight, I will always go to a level 10. I will call him lazy, stupid, retard. The list goes on and on and on. My husband likes to press my buttons and instigates me. I have extreme rage.
When I'm really angry, I want to see my husband in physical pain. I want his body to feel the pain that my heart feels.
When I get angry, it sounds like, are you serious right now?
You're making up in your own head. Understand that.
Like, I will kill you.
We've already talked about you. Let's move on.
It is serious. In the last 6 years, we have had over 100 physical fights. I am the aggressor. When I get to the level of rage, I will black out. I will hit him repeatedly in the face, in the chest, in the back. I scream to the point of losing my breath. My fits of rage can last an hour. I wonder every day if I am truly bipolar or if I am just a crazy bitch. My rage is the #1 thing keeping this marriage from being successful.
Ashley's husband, Aaron, is a former Marine, and some may wonder why he puts up with Ashley's abuse. Here's his side of the story.
Ashley does go 0 to 60 in the matter of moments. Out of nowhere, she'll get angry and upset. There's no gradual escalation here. All of a sudden, she just goes boom. It's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It scares me. The physical abuse began soon after we were married. She's closed fist punched me in the face. She's throwing the baby gate down the stairs, throwing end tables around. She'll punch the walls. She'll be inches from my face, screaming to the point where her face is turning completely red.
What? You're delusional.
You'll see veins popping out. It's frightening. And she rages in front of the kids. During one of the fights, she actually came at me while I was holding my son. It scares the hell out of me because they're defenseless. Our son especially is afraid of her. She'll get up in his face and she'll scream at him. He has a tendency to try to get away from her as much as he possibly can. I was physical with my wife on one occasion. She pinned me in a bathroom and we were fighting and I had to push through her arm, which ended up getting scraped up on the door frame. Other than that, I've never laid a hand on her. I think my wife's rage is definitely out of control. I'm desperate for help because it doesn't seem like Ashley listens to anybody. But she thinks Dr. Phill is the only one that can save us right now.
Well, I'm certainly going to give it the old college try. So tell me, why are you doing this?
I don't really know. Honestly, I mean, I know that I'm really mad, and a lot of times I feel like it's justified. Probably 50% of the time it's not justified. A lot of times he eggs me on. He'll come in there and push my buttons.
Okay, that is such a flawed statement, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Why do you think this is going on?
I think it's going on basically because she doesn't feel validated in whatever we're doing, or she gets frustrated and doesn't know how to, how to deal with it.
So what gives you the right to hit him? What gives you the right to rage like this? I mean, seriously, who told you that you were entitled to behave in this way?
I honestly don't think I have the right.
No, that's not true. You do think you have the right because you claim the right and then you assert the right. So don't tell me that you don't think you have the right, because you do.
Yeah, you're right. Brains and smarts and ways about me go completely out the window. I don't care. I will even say it. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, I hate myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually go and hide in a closet or a bathroom and completely tear myself apart.
What does that mean? How do you do that?
When I was younger, I used to, try to give myself wounds. I wouldn't cut myself, but I would, hit myself with, things or scrape myself. I didn't know how to express my feelings.
Do you do that now? You say you go in and try to tear yourself apart. Do you go in there and hit yourself? Do you hit the wall? What do you do?
Well, when I hit the walls and stuff, it is because I'm trying to keep it in. I'm trying to keep from hitting him. Mm-hmm. I slam doors, I throw things, I do that because I'm trying to stop. I try. Mm-hmm. It just feels like I'm choking on my anger, literally.
So what are you so angry about? You sometimes pound on him and only stop when your knuckles hurt, right? What are you so mad about?
I don't remember. I black out. He triggers me. It can be because I'm talking to him about a normal conversation, and then he'll stop talking to me. One big trigger for me is he'll literally stop talking to me. And all of a sudden, something in me just done. And I see red.
Well, I strongly suspect it doesn't just happen that quick. It ramps up.
It ramps up,
and he sees that. So, my dad used to tell me, don't ever miss a good chance to shut up. And I get the sneaking suspicion that sometimes it's better off for you to stop talking.
It's a lot better off because it doesn't matter what I say. She'll just turn whatever it is that I'm saying around on me.
Yeah, well, don't sit here and act like you don't say things along the way.
Were you upset that he brought you a flower?
Kind of.
Yeah. Why is he hanging around models and sending text messages saying, "Hi, sexy"? That doesn't help. We'll talk about that after the break.
I found out that my husband has been cheating on me for a little over a year.
If she had never found out about it, I probably would never have told my wife about the affair.
And later, so what the hell's the matter with you? You got somebody sitting in your lap, pounding you in the face with both hands. You say, "This is my daily life." What the hell's wrong with you?
I have severe trust issues with my husband.
The main issue in my marriage is the lack of trust from my wife. She always kind of treats me as either a child or a subordinate in some way.
In my husband's career as a photographer, he has shot women for fashion photo shoots, which have caused major issues in our marriage. Then I felt like the girls were going to try coming on to him or hitting on him, and then he was going to try and sleep with them. I have done some pretty heavy spying, snooping. I have hacked his emails, voicemail, searched his phone, put find a phone on his cell phone. I read his tablets. You name it, girls, it's been done.
He's had one affair that you know about. and other things that you thought were on the edge, inappropriate.
Less than 2 months ago, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me for a little over a year.
How many times did I ask you in a year if you were having an affair on me? And you told me no.
Ashley found out about the affair because she found text messages between myself and this lady.
I called him right away, and I said to him, if you don't want your dirty little secret getting out, I suggest you get home right now. Your actions involve hurting other people.
I know that.
It's not all about you.
At the time of the affair, we weren't getting along because there was no intimacy in our relationship.
Don't touch me. He admitted to sleeping with her roughly 10 times over the last year.
If she had never found out about it, I probably would never have told my wife about the affair. I would have probably continued it also.
Because of what you did, there are certain words that I don't want to hear. Like, you're the only one for me. I don't want to hear that. I gag every time he tells me, you're the only one for me. That is the biggest lie.
She says that you've sent text messages to models saying, quote, hi, sexy. Email to an old girlfriend saying that you wanted to see her beautiful face. Voicemail in Aaron's phone of a female saying, I can't wait to see you. A picture of a naked woman in your cell phone. Text message to a woman saying, I'd love to see you rolling around in the dirt wearing next to nothing. And text messages to another woman with sexual innuendos and a picture of genitals. Yours or hers?
Mine.
Okay. These are the things that you found.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about all that?
Oh, I was mad. I confronted him on all of them.
Uh-huh. And what was your response?
I don't have any defense to that. I mean, I said, you're right, you know. Depends on which situation that we're talking about. Everything basically before the affair, I was trying to justify it somehow. Like saying to someone that they look sexy, I'm trying to justify it with models are very self-conscious and you need to make them feel good because they're constantly comparing themselves to what they see in my portfolio or other people's portfolios. Uh-huh. So I'm just trying to make them feel good. And
she threw the flag on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that what was really going on?
That's what was really going on. So
you're telling the truth. You were just saying, I'd love to see you rolling around the dirt next to nothing to help build her self-esteem.
We were joking around back and forth on that one. You know, we were throwing around shoot ideas and stuff like that.
It was a good joke.
Yeah. Do you understand how that would be offensive to her sensibilities?
In hindsight, I do. And I don't know why I keep doing it over and over
Was
again.
it a close call in figuring that out? Was that hard for you to see her point of view?
No. After the whole situation.
We have a lot of women in the audience. If that would be offensive to your sensibilities, if your man was doing that, raise your hand. Okay, just quick focus group to help you out. When you read those things, you confronted him about it. Was that a trigger for you to go into a rage?
On some occasions.
I think it was more of a trigger for her, the fact of my response toward it.
Depending on what comes out of his mouth is dependent on what I do, in honesty.
Like, what's the worst thing he can say that triggers you?
The worst thing that he says when I find stuff like that is, well, if you keep looking, you're going to find something. Like, if you look, there's going to be something. Like, it's my fault. I'm the one making things up. He says that every single time. And I said, well, I'd stop looking if I stopped finding things. I wouldn't feel the need to snoop if there wasn't evidence.
Do you have a way of expressing your anger that's nonviolent? Because one of the things you said to us is, if it's not violent, I don't feel better.
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
So you got to be pounding on somebody or you don't get relief.
On something, yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It has to be physical exertion, like physical. It can't be breathing because that, come on. I can hardly breathe. Let's be serious. I don't have time for that.
You don't have time
For breathing. No.
for breathing?
No.
You mean breathing exercise?
Yeah.
You're counting to 10 or calming yourself.
Yeah,
or
counting to
whatever.
10, that's for kids. I can't do that.
Because you're much more mature than that.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're okay.
Point taken.
I have a very important question for Aaron. If he's such a tough military guy, why is he putting up with all this abuse?
When we physically fight, I hit my husband in the face, in the back, chest. I will slap him. I think my husband doesn't call the police on me because he knows that I will manipulate my way out of it. I will just tell them, look at me. I'm like 120 pounds. Look at him. He's like 170. Like, really? I'm doing damage? I don't think so.
Their worst fight ever was when she sat on Aaron's lap and repeatedly punched him in the face with both of her hands. She had sores and bruises on her hands when it was over. What set that off?
I remember the place. I remember the time, the argument. I don't remember. I really, truly, honestly don't.
So it was important enough for you to sit in his lap and pound him in the face with both of your hands, but you can't recall what it was. Just something, I don't know.
Well, Dr. Phill, for us, this is our everyday life.
Yeah, so why is that? What the hell's the matter with you?
I don't...
No, seriously, what the hell's the matter with you? You got somebody sitting in your lap, pounding you in the face with both hands. You say, this is my daily life. What the hell's wrong with you? Why are you accepting that? Why are you doing that?
It seems like through the service and everything like that, I've been trained to put up with a lot of...
No.
I've been trained to do a lot of stuff like that.
The service did not take your spine. It did not take your self-esteem. It did not take your ability to think. Don't tell me that military training taught you to allow someone to beat and abuse you and do it in front of your children. That's not true.
It taught me that I was the strong one and I can take a lot. It taught me that I'm not allowed to lay a hand on my wife.
Did it teach you anything about being a leader?
Yes.
Then what about leading your family here? What about stepping up and manning up and doing what it takes to get the right things done? Did you write me for help? No. Your wife wrote me for help. She wrote me on November 4th of 2010. Then she writes again December 10, just a few months ago.
5 days after the affair.
You are desperately trying to get this fixed. What do you stand to lose here if it doesn't?
Everything.
And that, of course, would prove you right, wouldn't it? Because you don't believe you deserve a husband. You don't believe you deserve these children. You think you are broken and damaged. And if the whole thing fell apart and it all went away, you just say, see? Do you think you're okay?
No.
Do you think you're broken? Do you think you're damaged?
Yeah.
Do you think you're behaving like a crazy woman?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's what you said in your email.
I feel like a crazy person.
Woman.
Yeah.
So if that's what you believe about yourself, then let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to create exactly what you think you deserve. We do that. We have a personal truth. We have something we believe about ourselves. And then we generate the results we think we deserve. Well, I tried to identify what the triggers were from talking to both of you. It seems to be when you feel disrespected, when you feel abandoned, if your world is threatened, or if he shuts down, pulls out, ignores you.
Very correct.
Those are 4 major triggers for you, right? Do you notice that every one of them has to do with security?
No, I do, yeah. I guess I never really wrote them down and focused on them.
Every one of them has to do with security. Fear.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that as you look at it?
Makes me wonder where that came from.
Well, you were certainly betrayed as a child, right?
Yeah.
Certain things that shouldn't happen, it did happen.
Yeah, I kind of feel like things could have gone a little bit easier.
Next, Ashley and Aaron aren't the only ones living in this war zone. As I've alluded to, they have 2 small children, ages 6 and 3. So how much have these children seen and experienced? You may be doing this in your own home. I'm going to talk about the impact this has on the children. We'll be right back.
I do favor my daughter over my son. She's a lot easier. My daughter is a lot easier. She's easygoing. She's just happy. My son is exactly like me. He screams when he cries. It's really obnoxious noise. And I just go, stop it, stop. I have told my son before, when I'm really angry, quit crying, quit being a baby, knock it off. We always fight in front of the kids. We live in a very turbulent household. I have stood over my son and yelled and screamed at him in his face at the top of my lungs many, many times. And I still do to this day. My son shows many signs of having the same rage that I do. My son has social and emotional issues. I feel we're 100% to blame. Sometimes I wish that we wouldn't have had kids because we weren't ready, and obviously we are not that great together. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't think I'm a good mom. I would give anything to be a good mom.
So where are you falling short?
My behavior. I yell at him. When I get scared or emotional for him, I will grab him and squeeze his arm really hard, stop, if he's embarrassing me, at the airport, he wouldn't go down the escalator because he was scared of it. And there was a crowd of people behind us, and I just grabbed his arm and I was like, you need to come with me right now and just stop it. I will help you, and it's not telling him that he can trust me. That's telling him be afraid and come now. And I know that in my head, but my body is just doing something different. I'm not treating him right. And I've been doing it since he was a baby and a kid.
And how's he doing with his rage?
Not good. He screams. When he gets angry, he used to just scream, I hate you, you're the world's worst mommy, I don't love you, and stomp, throw things. He has social, emotional issues. His school told him that he had anxiety, depression. I don't know if he really does, but.
Well, children learn what they live, right?
Yeah.
So he's modeling and mimicking you. Mm-hmm. And where are you when all this is going on?
I'm usually sitting there too. I guess I kind of take a back seat because Ashley's the mother. She's had, education and childhood development and stuff like that. I haven't. I'm kind of I'm kind of lost when it comes to all this kind of stuff. But when I see stuff like that, I'll be telling Ashley, hey, can settle down. Can you, tone it back a little bit? Just basically back off. And one of her big triggers is whenever I say settle down.
You're backing off and staying out of it because you don't want to pay the price, right? So I'm going to get hell for this. I step in, she's going to do this. She's going to turn on me. It's going to trigger. It's going to go.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. So 6-year-old, 3-year-old, the hell with you. I'm saving myself. How selfish is that? You need to man up. She's over there abusing these children, yelling, screaming, jerking, and yelling, and you're saying, oh, I'm not wading into that. I'll get the same thing. You do whatever you have to protect the children. It is already showing in your son, correct? He's yelling, he's raging, he's stomping his feet. The school's saying he's having anxiety, and he is. He's freaking out because his world is scary. What is Ashley really scared of? I'll get to the bottom of that when we come back.
This scares me when I hear stuff like this.
Scares you enough to go and have an affair?
Touche.
The sight of my husband makes makes me annoyed all the time. Just being around him sometimes just makes me, even when he's doing nothing. I just despise him, and I think it's just pent up anger.
You know, I ask what you do with your children. I made a list of the things you said. You said, I have stood over my son and yelled at him in his face, have spanked my son up to 6 to 7 times in one sitting. I have slapped him across the face. I have said, quit crying, quit being a baby. My daughter is perfect.
I said that. I don't know how 2 children can be so different. I mean, it sounds horrible, but she just, I don't know, she just made it through the storm. I don't know. She comes up to me and she sees me upset and she sees me crying.
Oh, it's early. That changes those children in a meaningful and lasting way. You are writing on the slate of who they are.
I'm living proof of that.
And you lived it. Now you are repeating the legacy.
Yep.
I asked you before what you're so angry about. I ask you now what you're so scared about. What are you afraid is going to happen so terrible in your life?
That I'm going to completely destroy my children. They're going to turn out like me. It's the last thing I want. I want anybody to feel the way I feel. Bruised, broken, sad.
Go on, keep talking.
Destroyed.
Don't stop.
Empty. Incomplete. Unlovable. Ugly. Just every negative word you can think of. That's how I feel.
And what do you say to yourself when you're alone with you and really disgusted?
People would be better off without you. Your children would be happier if they just had their dad.
Have you thought about killing yourself?
Thought about it, but I haven't planned anything out.
And why would you do it?
Because I think that I'm hurting everybody else more than I'm helping.
Do you think you're at risk?
No. I know that I get angry, and sometimes I think I'm at risk of hurting my husband or collateral damage. I know that. I need to be realistic about that.
You know the number one reason people give for killing themselves? They believe they're just a burden. That everybody they love would just be better off without them.
Well, I do feel that way. I'm not going to lie about that.
Yeah. Well, that's a first step down a really, really dangerous road.
This scares me when I hear stuff like this. It just, I mean...
Scares you enough to go and have an affair?
Touche.
Well, on that note, we'll take a break. Can Ashley and Aaron's marriage survive all of this? Can she survive all of this? And should this marriage and family even continue? Or is it time to just shut this down? We'll be right back.
I've contemplated divorce on several occasions, especially after I see how this fighting is affecting our children.
I know I need to make a complete 180. I need to stop being so angry. I need to stop being so bitter. I need to trust. Right now, I give our marriage about a year before I get divorced.
I asked you what you were so angry about. I asked you what you were so afraid of. Now I'm going to ask you probably the most important question that I've asked you today. What do you want? What do you want?
I want that 180. I want to be a completely different person. And I want to be a good mother.
What if that was possible? Well, what would it mean to you if that happened in your life?
It would mean everything to me.
Well, I'm getting ready to give you a roadmap of exactly how to do that, and then I'm going to help you execute that roadmap. So what I'm getting ready to say, you need to hear with both ears. Everybody has a philosophy in life, and yours is get them before they get me. And it's just really hard to approach somebody if they're like this all the time, right?
Yeah.
Your children will learn that you are a source of pain, not comfort. Your daughter, too. He will finally say, what the hell? Unless you decide, wait a minute. What if I have a choice? What if I trust myself enough to take the risk of not getting them before they get me? What if I trust myself enough to just be me and see if people come to me or run away? What if I come out from behind this wall and find out whether or not I get trampled on or whether I don't? But you'll never know until you put them down. Tell me the 5 best things about who you are.
I'm trustworthy. I'm honest. I'm loyal. I can only do 3.
And you give me the Boy Scout oath. I'm honest, trustworthy, and loyal. You don't have an answer. You can't even get to 5. You gave me 25 things that you hate about yourself. And you can't give me 5 that you like about yourself.
I've never been good at that.
Your self-esteem is on the floor. You didn't choose to put it there, but that's where it is. And when we're fearful, we often react in anger because it's our safest emotion, right?
Oh, yeah.
We get hurt less when we're angry than when we're open, when we're vulnerable. And so you're defaulting to anger to protect the self-esteem that you don't have any belief or confidence in. That is going to change. You've changed just being here today. You need help with this. You don't need couples therapy right now. You're not angry at him. He's just handy. I'm going to get you some help with this. I'm going to get you some help selfishly for you. I just want you to be selfish on your own behalf. I'm going to arrange for some very specialized help for you that's going to work on your self-esteem, your self-worth, and a whole lot of forgiveness. And I'm willing to do that if you will look me in the eye and say to me, Dr. Phill, I deserve it. It's my turn.
Dr. Phill, I deserve it. It's my turn.
Why was that so emotional for you to say?
It's hard for me to say that it's something just for me. I think about everybody else.
You give me just even 90 days, your world is going to look a whole lot different. Okay?
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Definitely.
Fair enough?
It's amazing.
Thank you for being here. Up next, we're talking about a secret illness that put my next guest out of work and keeps her feeling like she actually has to hide from society. We'll be right back.
Picking clothes out every day is a struggle. I constantly have to make sure my sleeves are long enough, or if I do wear shorts, they go to my knees. And I avoid wearing dark colored clothing. I'm the 26-year-old mother of 2, and I've been struggling with severe plaque psoriasis for almost 7 years. I suffer from this condition on my hands, my knees, my arms, my chest, my scalp, my face. I think and obsess about it all the time. It drives me crazy. On a daily basis, I have to take into consideration my psoriasis. I wear my hair big to conceal my psoriasis on my scalp. I don't want people to have to look at my psoriasis on my scalp, and that's all that you can see, especially around my face and all right here where I part my hair. I don't like to pull my hair up in a ponytail because I don't like people to see my psoriasis on my ears. My ears will start bleeding. It's pretty bad. Picking clothes out every day is a struggle. I constantly have to make sure that my sleeves are long enough, or if I do wear shorts, they go to my knees. And I avoid wearing dark colored clothing to avoid my psoriasis flakes from my scalp falling down all over me. I'm teaching my daughter that everybody is beautiful inside and out, and I wonder how I can be a good role model for her when I don't feel that way about myself.
Well, on the tape with Seeger, and I thank you for being here, because this is something you kind of hide from, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you're not hiding. You're out here talking about it. And also joining us to talk about psoriasis is our very good friend, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer. Dr. Frida, take us through this. Talk about psoriasis. What is it? What do we need to know?
Psoriasis is a chronic inflammatory disease. Basically what happens is your immune system mistakenly instructs skin cells to grow too quickly. And those overgrown cells collect in patches, or things we call plaques. And these plaques can be anywhere over your body. And frequently, as Seeger told us, the scalp, the elbows, the knees, and your torso or your chest are the common places. And you just mentioned that sometimes people are afraid that they might catch your psoriasis.
Yes. They either think it's an infection or have some sort of like crazy disease. They don't know what it is.
In fairness to people, if they don't know, do people, if they're around someone that has this condition, do they need to be scared? Is it contagious?
Well, this is the perfect time to set the record straight. No. Psoriasis is not contagious. Not contagious. You can't catch it. In fact, research suggests that in order to actually develop psoriasis, a person has to have a genetic predisposition and also exposure to a trigger. And that trigger can be something like stress, an infection, an injury to the skin, or even certain medicines.
About 40% of people with psoriasis, more so in women, minorities, and young people, really report experiencing social discrimination, like being refused service at hair salons, not being permitted to use public pools. You've felt the sting of this, right?
Yes, I have. I've actually went into a cell phone store, and I was going to pay my bill and asked them a few questions that I had about my phone. And I'd put my hands up on the counter, and the lady that was working just went back for me after she seen my hands when I had a really bad flare up, and she just went like this and like didn't want to, touch my phone or help me with my stuff. So,
and being judged for how you look is bad enough. Even worse, when being judged has the kind of emotional distress that you just described, but also can aggravate your symptoms. The other thing is, though psoriasis alone is not enough, people with psoriasis also have an increased risk to develop other illnesses, depression, arthritis, heart disease, and diabetes. That's why it is so very important for people who have psoriasis to come forward, to speak out, and to get with a medical team that can help find the best treatment platform that may work for them. And I was really struck by your question. You said, what can I do to be a good role model for my daughter when I have this disease? So, for starters, to have the courage to be here, to tell your story, to help other people, what a wonderful role model that is for your daughter. So you should be really proud of yourself. In addition, you're working to control all these pieces of psoriasis, so to get as much control over this disease as you can. But you also show the grace to accept those things that you can't, and then to deal with those as best as possible. And importantly, and also something that you're doing today, which I think is absolutely critical, is that you are teaching your daughter that how you treat others is as visible and as impactful as any skin disease can be. How beautiful that is. And of course, Dr. Phill, there's so much to know about psoriasis and so many resources that people need. Of course, we invite folks, if they want to know more, to go to gethealthystayhealthy.com.
Yeah. And listen, this gethealthystayhealthy.com is an absolute wealth of information, and they're going to find what they need on psoriasis on this site, as well as a whole lot of other things. And you actually write a blog on here, so we get to hear from you on there as well.
And even better, so you get to hear from me, but there are dozens of experts that contribute to the site. So myself, but other experts.
Yeah. If you haven't been there, it's gethealthystayhealthy.com. Put it on your favorites list. I have it on mine. All right, I'd like to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Frieda Lewis Hall. And Seeger, thank you for having the courage to come be kind of a poster girl for all of this. For more information on today's show, you can visit drphill.com. We'll see you next time. All right, great job. Great job. Good job. Really good.